I did not see that coming at Penn State. That was such a great game. It really was. It goes up there. We were talking about it as we left the booth, Gus and I, and some of the other folks that are always with us in the booth, and we were talking about where that game landed and that finish landed in the hierarchy of all the years we've been together. This is the 11th season of games now that Gus and I have been together. And that's easily a top 3-4 game that I've ever called with Gus. That was sensational. His call, obviously, we'll get to that in a little bit. But that's where I want to start, because it started off the day, obviously, with the noon game. And Indiana looks like they're going to handle Penn State. They're getting the turnovers. They're converting them into points. This is something that they have done all season long, and they do it at a really, really efficient clip. It's what makes them so good. So they get a couple more turnovers. They turn them into 10 points. They're growing this lead. It's 20-7 at one point. Then it's 20-10. And you're thinking to yourself, like, at any moment, this Indiana team has the ability to turn it on, and they're just going to kind of run away and hide in this game. And who knows the type of mojo and emotion that is going on the sideline for Penn State. How much are they going to have left? And then all of the sudden, I keep seeing this in the comments, by the way, that I say all of the sudden. I'm sorry that I shorten it. It's like saying y'all. All of the sudden, since you want me to pronounce every single word, all of the sudden, Penn State just starts to claw back into that game. The defense started getting a little momentum, and they did a great job of holding the run game of Indiana at bay, allowing the pass rush to get after Fernando Mendoza in some obvious passing scenarios. And then the offense in the second half started getting chunk plays down the field, throwing the football down the field. And lo and behold, here come the Nittany Lions, and they take the lead until the moment. I tell you what, that final drive, when Penn State scored, I generally have a feeling to myself about, okay, this offense is going to come back. And like when USC scored against Illinois earlier this year and there was too much time on the clock, I said it. I was like, there's too much time on the clock. I know Illinois is going to go down. They're going to kick a field goal and win, and they did. I did not have a great feeling for Indiana because they hadn't done anything really in the second half against Penn State's defense. That defense was outstanding. In a lot of ways, it mimicked what Iowa was able to do against Indiana. They were outstanding. And here you go. Fernando Mendoza gets sacked on first down. There's 1:30 left. They're on the 13-yard line, and he goes 9 plays, 87 yards in 54 seconds. I mean, a mind-blowing drive. And the throws that he makes on that drive, Nowakowski down the seam, Cooper down the seam, Becker on the edge, who was tremendous, by the way, and then ultimately with Omar Cooper. And that's where we've got to go with a trip down memory lane, presented by Graduate by Hilton. Nostalgic stays in your favorite college towns. We know there's only one choice this week. Here you go.
Mendoza in trouble. It's out. Touchdown. Wow. Omar Cooper. Unbelievable. Give him the Heisman Trophy now.
Did he get his foot down?
The ruling of the touchdown.
Control.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no way.
Oh my goodness. It's a touchdown.
Oh my gosh. He caught it.
He caught it.
That is crazy. Oh my
my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's the best catch I have seen all season long.
I mean, it was, I had no analysis for you. That was just pure emotion. I was reacting to what was, in my mind, one of the great catches that I've ever seen in a moment that needed it. The occasion there, Omar Cooper, greatness was demanded of him, and he delivered greatness. And from our vantage point, you have to understand, from the booth, you're up a little ways, you're at the 50-yard line, and so I'm looking down and left, and you have to understand, from my vantage point, when I see the play live, there's no chance it's a catch. It looks like he's hitting his head on the field goal post. And I'm like, no, there's no way, and I see the officials' hands go up and I was like, oh, they're going to replay this. So my immediate reaction was to go to the monitor, which is why I didn't say much after Gus, he gets the touchdown call and he goes to Mars. And what an iconic and incredible call from Gus Johnson. And that's why we love him. He reacts with all of himself. He's cracking. He's losing his voice. It's amazing, right? And I didn't say much because I'm going to the replay monitor because I'm thinking to myself, surely this is not actually a catch. Because again, from my angle, there's no chance that he's bringing that ball in. And sure enough, on the replay, we've got an amazing crew. Our camera guys and our entire crew are phenomenal, led by Chuck McDonald and Rich Dewey, our producer and director. And they had the shot. They had the replay angle, and it's right there. First angle, bang. There's the freeze as you're getting down there, and boom, the left foot is in, and I'm losing my mind. Omar Cooper, well done, my friend. Well done, my friend. Oh my goodness. He had a wristband on that said Jeremiah 29:11. And for those of you that don't know, it's the verses. I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm seeing that shot, and I was like, hey man, how are those plans treating you out? Omar Cooper, this guy, he goes up the ladder, and then he's looking down after controlling the pass, and you can tell that he's specifically reaching that left foot to tap it inbounds. That was wild, man. That was wild. Okay, so now we have to get to the fallout from. I just had to react with all the exuberance that I still maintain here as we're recording this on Sunday, because I think all of you felt kind of what we were feeling in the stadium. But now let's get to the fallout of the game. All right, so now where does that leave us? Indiana is still undefeated. Penn State is 3-6. And here's the thing. You can fall into two camps with Indiana, and I don't think anybody is going to change camps after Saturday's game. Okay, there were a sector of people that think to themselves, Indiana is not a great team, and they were, I don't want to say, they were a bit overmatched in big moments a year ago against Ohio State and Notre Dame. And there are a sector of people, mainly from the South, but I'll just say, that feel like Indiana is still that team and will get taken advantage of at some point, and they don't think they're a great team. Now, there's others that see Indiana as maybe having one of the better resumes in the entire country, and more specifically, one of the teams that have done the best job on the road. Think about the road wins that they have at Oregon, at Iowa, now at Penn State. And I know some will say, and if you're going to fall into that first category, you're going to say, like, listen, Penn State's a 3-6 football team. They've got an interim head coach. They got a backup quarterback. Like, what are we talking about? And then there are others, and I probably fall more in this camp where it's like, no. That is a roster that outside of the quarterback is still a top 3, 4, 5 roster in college football. They started the season, rated number 2 in the country. And we saw it. Like, they played better in this game than they have played dating all the way back to the Oregon game at home, which they lost in double overtime to a really good Oregon team that only has 1 loss. They played better defensively in this game than they have really all season long. They found some things in that second half offensively with Ethan Grunkemeyer and their run game with Singleton and Allen. The crowd was alive. I've got to tell you, I've called a lot of games in Beaver Stadium, and normally they're really big games with great opponents. And I hate to say it this way, but I've yet to see Beaver Stadium really rock. Now, the pick 6 early against Will Howard and Ohio State last year, it was going. There's no doubt. It was very loud that day. But yesterday, for me, again, I'm recording this on Sunday, so yesterday on Saturday, that place was on fire. When Kobe King gets that interception, Kalen King, sorry. King gets that interception and at safety, and he races across the field. They take it in and score. Their defense is going. They're causing the offense of Indiana have false starts. Like, they're going. So again, I fall more in this other camp, which is that is a really, really good win for Indiana, in particular for a team that didn't have their best wide receiver on the field. So he had to do all of that, speaking of Fernando Mendoza, without Elijah Surratt. That tells me that they've got some serious mettle. Charlie Becker steps up. Now, the run game, I think, can get better, but let's not forget that they were down to their third left guard. Drew Evans was out up front for them. So they are winning despite some really serious injuries to some very key people and contributors on this team. They're winning tough tests. They're doing it in consistent fashion. I look at this as a springboard for them and moving forward where they can hang their hat on this and say, yes, we are better than last year. We are outstanding when it comes to finding ways to win. Late against Oregon, pick 6 for Oregon, they come back and win. Tied, minute 50 left, minute 45 left against Iowa, find a way to win. Down against Penn State, have to put the ball in the end zone. And they do it. All of these things are going to pay huge dividends for Indiana. There's no doubt. Penn State, they are not a 3-6 football team to me. I know your record is what your record is, but the way that they played, if you just use your eyeballs, you know that was a very good win for Indiana. That's as loud as I've ever heard Beaver Stadium. And let's face it, if this was another league, all anyone would talk about is how hard it is to win on the road, which it is everywhere in college football, as we see every single week. And so to sustain that late, that drive, Mendoza, get into the end zone, that's huge. Outside of the loss to Penn State, outside of the loss to Ohio State, Penn State's looking at margins of defeat of 5-1, 1-3, double overtime. Like, geez, that you talk about a team that snake bit. I felt bad for them, but you know what? Like, Indiana made the plays.
Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.